I didn't want to actually believe this myself, but when I saw supercar flipping scam, I thought to myself, oh my god, you can mod cars. Why supercars? Especially if you're not even going to do the actual work and you're going to also give it to... I don't know, what the hell is going on? Oh, wow. This video just came out 2 hours ago. This came from Atozy, from Mr. Atozy himself. It's called Couple Arrested for $57 Million Supercar Flipping Scam. Why? Why, for the life of me? Have they... Okay, couple flips supercar got caught. And got caught scamming. And got caught. Okay, here we go. That's what I'm just gonna be putting right there because they got caught scamming. They got caught scamming people for flipping supercars. Why are you flipping supercars just to rip people off? Why?
So a couple convinced investors to hand over $57 million by promising that they could flip luxury supercars to wealthy overseas buyers for absolute insane profit margins. Except there was no buyers. They didn't exist at all. And now they're facing 75 charges after police seized dozens of exotic vehicles from their $2 million mansion. And the wildest part about this story is what made everything come crashing down on him was one single poker bet.
Investigators reveal more about what Metro Police call a massive fraud scam and
what is going on?
A promise of a $2 billion return. These are just some of the cars and boats police say Jung and Nilufar Ri told investors to buy so they could then resell them to overseas luxury car buyers.
Basically, they're gonna sell it for offshore profit? And did they work on them? I don't think they worked on them once. Oh my god.
Before I get into how everything fell apart, meet Jong Ri, a 45-year-old entrepreneur who also goes by John Lusso, and his wife, Nilufar Ri, who is 34 and is also known as Nilu. For some reason, I can't find any public photos of them and not even a mugshot, so that's a first for me and I don't know what's going on there. But this couple has been operating a handful of businesses around Las Vegas for years, and if you look at their track record, they do not shy away from controversy. Court records show that Jung was already wrapped up in various lawsuits by 2022. Even his own lawyers quit on him. The motion basically...
Even his own lawyers quit on him. Keep that in mind, because if his own lawyers quit on him, that means he tried to make sure that they were on board on his legal ass until they got sick and tired of him. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god. That just means he's freaking desperate for this shit. That just means he's actually desperate for this. What the hell?
Even his own lawyers quit on him. The motion basically said that Jong failed to communicate effectively with his lawyers and hadn't been holding up his end of the engagement agreement. But despite all of these red flags popping up in the background, Jong and Nilu, they just kept expanding their businesses throughout 2023 and 2024 like nothing was ever wrong. And they were running companies like Twisted Twins Motorsports and Lusso Auto Spa, which were marketed as high-end automotive businesses catering to luxury car enthusiasts. They also owned a restaurant called 8 Kitchen over in Henderson, Nevada. Though that place has since closed down. They had their hands in a bunch of other businesses, like boutique businesses, high-end home studios, and even some Pinkberry franchise locations out in California. But here's where things get interesting, because according to the people who actually work with the Rees, Jong had a particular playbook in attracting new clients and potential investors. He would deliberately park expensive, eye-catching cars in high-trafficked areas, where they'd get maximum attention. And of course,
high-trafficked areas. Oh boy, yeah.
This was all strategic because...
It's to make sure that the attention goes to him, yes.
When people started walking up to the car, he just kind of appeared out of nowhere and started talking to them. And what's kind of fascinating is Jong's entire sales funnel was parking Lambos in public and waiting for people to ask questions. One guy who ended up falling for it ended up working for quite a few of Jong's businesses. And he claimed that Jong was a flashy and calculated person. And with the exception of those Pinkberry stores, basically every venture the Rees touched seemed focused on targeting wealthy but poorly informed customers. Now, even...
Oh my god. With the exception of some Pinkberry chain stores in California, each of Ray's ventures seemed to revolve around the theme of hooking well-off but poorly informed clientele. Oh, yeah. Yeah, keeping your workers stupid. Yeah, not a good time. Not a good thing.
venture, the Reese Touch seemed focused on targeting wealthy but poorly informed customers. Now, even before we get into the massive fraud scheme that eventually got him arrested, it's worth understanding that the Rees were already operating in some pretty questionable territory with their illegitimate businesses as well. Because according to that same contractor who worked with them, the couple had a reputation of cutting corners and making things up to some ridiculous levels. For example, they would allegedly import cheap knockoff wheels from China, like the kind of wheels that probably cost maybe...
Oh, come on. That is absolutely going to get noticed if it... Okay, there are enthusiasts who are only just enthusiasts and they don't actually inspect the vehicles that they're driving or the vehicles that they're actually being concerned about. But there are those types of enthusiasts who value quality over everything else, and those who are valuing quality, if they're car enthusiasts, they're increasing because they know better than to trust knockoff components or knockoff parts of any car, okay? Especially if the car is doomed to actually fail because of those knockoffs in the first place, okay? So they value quality. Doesn't this couple understand that there are enthusiasts who have a sharper eye than most? They don't. Basically, it's their fault. They actually failed to actually get that together.
A few $100s per set, and then they'd mount those onto high-end luxury vehicles and then flip cars for massive markups, as if those wheels were legitimate high-end parts. They also offered cosmetic services through Atozy Spa, such as custom vinyl wraps, window tinting, and basic detailing work. But the prices they were charging for these services were apparently way beyond what any reasonable person would consider a fair value. And while they advertised more complex services like high-end custom paint jobs, the actual execution wasn't always matching what they were claiming it was going to be like. Because, I mean, this is just ridiculous, but one customer wanted their RC yacht to be painted just like their real one. So, Jung said, hey, that'll be $25,000. And while that sounds like highway robbery, what makes it worse is Jung realized he couldn't do the work. So after taking the client, find a painter, and then he agreed.
Oh, wait a second. Let me just go back to it.
Sounds like highway robbery. What makes it worse is Jung realized he couldn't do the work. So after taking the client's money, they then scrambled to find a painter, and then he agreed to do the work for about $3,000. So Jung pocketed roughly $22,000 in pure profit margin on that one single job. And even after making that much money off the deal, he allegedly made the actual painter fight just to get paid the $3,000.
Oh my god.
That's the kind of operation.
Look, it's a scam, so it wouldn't matter. Much. But, dude.
The Rees were running. And even with all these questionable business practices generating income, the contractor said that there was one thing that never quite made sense. The math never added up. Because the contractor was like, I know we're making some money, but how's this guy just going out and buying a brand new Rolls Royce? And it wasn't just one Rolls Royce. A few weeks later, he showed up in a custom blue G-Wagon. Then shortly later, he ordered an S-Class in the same special order.
It's a good thing the contractor has a mind for money, because if no one has a mind for money, they wouldn't be able to track these things. And if they wouldn't be able to track these things, it's basically their loss. Okay? It's basically their loss. But what if they got corruption in their mind and then, I don't know. But it's a good thing the contractors working for this guy actually do understand that, wait a second, aren't they actually spending for things that they should not have if ever they're... Somehow, the accounting they are giving does not make sense. Yeah, no. My boss is actually up to something shady. That's what the contractor would say.
Order color. The couple's lifestyle was clearly operating on a completely different financial level than what their businesses could actually realistically support. But at the time, nobody knew where all that extra money was actually coming from. So while the Rees were running their automotive shops and other ventures around Las Vegas, they were also quietly working on something much bigger behind the scenes. They started approaching people with what seemed to be an incredible investment opportunity. Jung would tell potential investors that he had exclusive connections to super wealthy buyers overseas, particularly in places like Singapore, who were desperate to get their hands on luxury vehicles and boats that were either difficult or impossible to acquire in their home countries. The story was import restrictions limited availability, and high demand in those foreign markets meant that vehicles purchased in the United States could be resold overseas for some insane profit margins. And they were heavily exaggerated, because according to investigators, Jung told investors that a 2024 Rolls-Royce Spectre in the US market, with a value of about $500,000, could be sold to his overseas contacts for $7.5 million.
Reese Reed said he could sell a Rolls-Royce Spectre worth $526,000 in the U.S. overseas for 7 point. That is an impossible claim. That is an impossible claim. To be able to raise the value to that high, to something, there is high room for doubt. There is absolutely high room for doubt unless he could show the buyers their own facilities. Holy shit. This is beyond impossible.
And I'm surprised.
The promise is beyond impossible. There should have been something about this being reported. What is going on?
With that much money would actually believe that, because that's essentially a 1,300
People with money believe. Of course they would. But I'm willing to bet that there were skeptics. There were already skeptics.
percent markup. Sometimes it really is too good to be true. And in another pitch, he said that a boat valued at $3.9 million in the US could be sold in Singapore for $13.5.
Oh my god.
Must be when Jung...
The sales pitch. He keeps doing this sales pitch routine, okay? He keeps doing this sales pitch routine to the point that he would actually make people believe that he can actually do shit miraculously. Things rarely happen miraculously, and you never know that a rug is being pulled under under your noses, okay? This is insane!
They told investors that if they contributed to a $57 million investment pool to purchase multiple vehicles and assets, he could turn that into $2.5 billion.
Oh my god.
And for context, if anyone could guarantee those kind of returns, every single hedge fund would be all over that. Young positioned himself as the guy with secret access, the insider connections and the special knowledge that made these deals possible, and apparently some people bought into it. Because the pitch...
Some people bought into it because they don't even know the existence. They don't know the existence of either a black market or something like that. Not existing for something so impossible like this at all. For promises like this to actually be legit, he would have had access to black market material. Mostly material that's not available in the United States. And those things are illegal. They can be tracked. But for these claims to be out and about so easily without the guy getting tracked or doubted at all by anyone else other than the buyers, that's already a red flag.
Was that regular people couldn't access these overseas markets on their own, but by investing through Jung's businesses, Twisted Twins Motorsports and Luso Auto Spa, they could participate in these exclusive deals and share the substantial profits when the vehicles were sold. So here's how the whole thing falls apart, because after months of investigation involving multiple law enforcement agencies across several states, police came to one pretty definitive conclusion. Those overseas buyers did not exist. Like, at all. Bro just made...
Yeah, they were made up. Delusion after delusion. When you think a scammer is working with clients, you would eventually believe he is scamming clients, but those overseas clients never exist. It's delusion after delusion. God, he shouldn't just go to jail. He should actually be at an institution and stay there. Oh my god, bro.
He made up some people and he was like, hey, give me $57 million and I'll,
Delusion after delusion. Holy shit, he didn't think he would get caught, bro.
Lambo trying to sell you something, standing in front of a Lambo. This goes...
Oh my god.
And this goes for, real-life solicitors. Because investigators say they found zero evidence that Jung actually ever had contacted any of these international clients, made any arrangements to ship any vehicles overseas, or set up any import/export deals, or had any legitimate business connections in Singapore or anywhere else to support any of these profit claims. Like, the whole situation just didn't make sense. So if the money wasn't being used to buy cars that would be flipped overseas for profits, where exactly...
Yeah, where's it going?
Police reports, the Rees weren't using investor funds for any kind of legitimate business purposes whatsoever. Instead, they were spending that money on themselves, and they were not being subtle about it at all. Because when Las Vegas police executed a search warrant on their couple's $2 million home in Henderson, back in October of 2024, they found an insane collection of exotic cars. And I'm not talking about more common luxury cars like S-Classes or Porsche 911s, no. A Bugatti Chiron, a Bugatti Divo, a Pagani Huayra R, only 30 Huayras exist.
Oh...
80 Chiron Supersports exist, so there's not a lot of them in the world. Also, an Apollo Intensa Emozione.
These are scam cars, holy shit.
Unsure how you pronounce that one, to be honest. But apparently only 10 of those exist. And also, just to put things in perspective, each of those cars are about like $3 million. They also seized a custom 2,500 horsepower boat, who Jung actually told his investors that he sold overseas. But apparently not, he just kept that one for himself. But investigators also say the Rees used the investor money to fund a lifestyle that included chartered private jets with a 60...
This is what I hate. Oh my god. This is what I hate about lifestyle chasing types of people. Sure, you earn money. You actually make a living out of it. You actually make sure that you actually grow something steady out of it. But actually doing crime only to chase after a lifestyle and believing your own freaking delusions to the point that other people are not... other people are starting to see that you are a delusional piece of shit. Wow. Just no. No, I am not. We are not that type to actually to fall with this type of person. And then when this type of person actually falls off hard. Holy shit. It is very, very satisfying. To the actual point that he actually folds. And unfortunately, law enforcement clamps down on you hard, and every bit of everything that is supposed to be scammed out, it's finally seized. Basically, your own empire, it's gone. It is gone. You're no longer getting them. You're no longer getting get profit on selling them, and at the same time, it's shit, dude. Actually, why even think that you wouldn't get caught if it's already modern day and there are ways you can get caught in these shits, dude? Come on.
$1,000 private jet trip to Missouri to go boating. Then they attempted to buy a bar and a residential property on Lake Havasu, Arizona, and then multiple trips to California and various other personal expenses and lifestyle enrichment. So while investors thought their money was going to assets to, give them some returns, the Rees just blew it on personal crap. And by the middle of 2024, the whole operation started to fall apart. Because here's the thing about a Ponzi. They only work as long as new money starts coming in. Once you can't find new investors to cover your promises, you're kind of SOL. And for the Rees, the collapse started happening at full speed, because according to the investigation and text messages that the police later recovered from their phones, the couple was under serious financial pressure mid-2024. They were dealing with mounting debts, delayed payments,
here we go,
described as unreliable business partners, which probably means other people in their network were running out of money. And text messages between Jung and Nilu from April 2025 showed just how desperate things have gotten. In one message, Jung wrote, "We are in big trouble for money." Another, "Right now our lives are on the line." And it's safe to say he wasn't exaggerating. The couple was genuinely panicking because their entire operation was collapsing and they had no way to cover their obligations.
Massive shortcuts only to achieve lifestyle accomplishments. This is lack of karma crashing down on you. Why chase after things that are considerably out of reach if you are not capable of maintaining the illusion that it's working? Seriously. They should have quit while ahead, but here we are. Here we are at a point in which, they can't come back from it now.
The former contractor who worked with him said his paychecks completely stopped around this time as well. But Jun kept assuring him that everything was fine and the money would be there soon. But the money never came. Today,
Yeah. He stopped paying people. He stopped paying people of their for their services. It's just crazy. It's falling apart quick.
That contractor still owed more than $10,000, and since the news of the arrest broke, several others have reached out to him, saying they were owed way more money. And according to the police and the details laid out in their arrest warrant, by summer of 2024, the couple was so broke and desperate that Jung decided to make one final gamble to try to save everything. And I mean, literally. Police say that Jung was a frequent gambler who regularly played high-stakes poker tournaments. But during the summer of 2024, with their finances completely wrecked, the couple decided one last $10,000 bet, and they used it to enter the World Series poker main event.
Yeah, they're screwed.
I guess he was just apparently hoping for a massive tournament win that would magically solve all their money problems, except obviously that didn't happen. And according to investigators, this failed poker bet was right around the time where the couple's behavior became even more desperate, and the fraud
John frequently gambled and played poker, police wrote in the arrest warrant, adding that he often entered high-stakes tournaments that further strained the couple's finances.
The scheme went into full panic mode. But what the Reeds probably didn't realize was, while they were scrambling to keep their operation afloat, law enforcement had been building a case against them for months. And this wasn't just some local Las Vegas investigation. This thing involved multiple agencies across several states.
Basically, it's a multi-state investigation. He's screwed. He's screwed!
And even federal partners. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI field offices of Las Vegas, Phoenix, Florida, Kentucky, and the Los Angeles Police Department, Department of Public Safety, Lake Havasu Police Department, Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources.
Oh my god, this is multi-agency! What the hell?
Police, and the Nevada Gaming Control Board. So, needless to say, that's a lot of agencies for one investigation, which tells us just how widespread and complex this fraud scheme.
Holy shit! They've pissed off a lot of people to the point that it's a multi-state, multi-agency investigation against them. What the hell? Bro, they should just touch grass. They should just do an eternal touch grass routine. They should just do an eternal touch grass routine. They're breaking laws left and right. And they're just not helping themselves anymore. Yeah.
Really was. And in October 2024, investigators executed a search warrant on the couple's Henderson home. And that's where they hit the full-on jackpot. They found all the exotic vehicles we talked about parked in and around the property.
Yep.
The electronic devices, computers, phones, and financial records, and even recovered the text messages between Jung and Nilu. It basically confirmed they were in some serious trouble and had been so for quite a while. But investigators didn't stop there. They spent months tracking down victims, following money trails, documenting transactions, and building an ironclad case against this couple.
So that this couple will absolutely learn their lesson and basically their lives are over. Because of fucking financial fraud. Financial fraud, okay? You rip people off. It will never do you good. Especially if you're stealing millions. If you're stealing millions, okay? It is never a good thing for you. Never. You would never economically recover.
Former employees and business associates, subpoenaed bank records, and traced where the money came from and where it went. By the time they were done, investigators compiled a 94-page arrest warrant.
94-page. Holy shit.
They laid out their entire fraud scheme. So in May of 2025, Las Vegas police showed up to their home and placed both Jung and Nilüfer under arrest.
May 2025! Oh my god! Oh yeah. That stuck badly at them.
They were both transported to Clark County Detention Center and booked on over 75 felony charges each.
Oh my god. I gotta check on a few things. Okay, I'm not sure if this is actually... Oh my god, wait, hold on. There's no body cam. There's no body cam for the other things. Chaotic stunts. Man. Arrest body cam. Yeah, we're going to have to check view count 4 to 20 minutes this year. I'm just checking if there's anything that I should check because oh my god, this is insane. This is absolutely insane, bro. I thought there was actually body cam footage for their arrest, but if there isn't, it's fine too. Okay, look, let's just resume.
Each, with a list of charges including multiple counts of racketeering, forgery, theft, and money laundering. They have a whole video showing all the stolen cars here. Dude, look at that boat. There's the Chiron. There's the... I don't even know what that is. That other car was actually probably the unpronounceable one. That's the Bugatti Divo. And there's the Huayra. Yeah, what's...
Yeah.
These hypercars...
Oh my god, bro.
Prison plus. But at the press release, police made it very clear they believe there was way more victims that just haven't came forward yet, so this whole thing might even be bigger.
2 individuals, Crispin Crispin de Guzman and John Baldwin are also facing charges related to the case. Yeah, some of the court records remain redacted. Holy shit, dude.
Than the $57 million they've already documented. So both Jung and Nilu, they posted bail at $100,000 each, and
they posted. No, don't let them out.
They were released from custody while awaiting trial. They were scheduled to appear in court on June 9th of 2025, though a lot of court documents in the case remain sealed, which is pretty standard for ongoing fraud investigations. What I am surprised about is no mugshots, nor any pictures about them online. Like, I haven't been able to find anything. And I don't just want to throw up a random picture of someone with the same name because I can't confirm this is actually them. So as of right now, I need to wait for an official police report or something that confirms their face. And I guess for all those seized hypercars, they didn't just sit in the police impound lot collecting dust, because on August 2025, several of those vehicles have been scheduled to go up for auction. And as of now, the case is still working its way through the court system. Zhang and Nilu are facing dozens of felony charges, and if they're convicted on even a fraction of those counts, it's safe to say they're looking at decades in prison. And I guess the most fitting part of the story must be the guy taking their last $10,000 and just gambling away in a poker tournament because he thought he could beat the odds. Which is honestly kind of a perfect metaphor for this entire fraud scheme, taking other people's money and betting it all against a losing hand. But as soon as I found out a guy essentially scammed $57 million from essentially soliciting on the streets of Las Vegas, I felt like I had to cover it. I thought it was a fascinating story, and it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens next. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, feel free to subscribe, drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.
Let me just tell you. Holy shit, dude. You even tried to gamble it all. It's so fucking desperate, bro. It's desperate to the point that you were at a very sorry state. What the hell? What in the literal hell? Yeah, I hope they definitely do get charged eventually by the superior courts. They do get charged by the superior courts to the point that, yeah, they're gonna face those multi-year sentences. Oh my god, bro, this is just bad. This is just bad. Let's see if there's anything from the last week. I'm just looking at whatever I need to look at it first. From Zhang and Nilufar Ri, okay? From Zhang and Nilufar Ri.
Whoa, what's that?
That's AI shit, dude. No. Screw that. Where is the thing?
You know that car dealer in Las Vegas with the Bugatti Divo who says he's flipping cars overseas? Yeah, he just stole $57 million from investors. But he wasn't your typical scammer. He had the cars. 2 Bugattis, a custom Pagani Huayra, one of only 10 Apollo IEs in existence. He would strategically park these cars in Vegas hotspots to bait investors, claiming that he could sell them in Singapore for 10 times the price. Local professional athletes, crypto bros, he'd bragged to everyone.
Oh my god.
Who would pay $7.5 million for a $500,000 Rolls Spectre. The cars were real, the overseas buyers were fake, but the hook was seeing $1 million metal parked right in front of you. And the craziest part, when he got so desperate that he got down to his last 10 grand, he didn't run or try to hide the evidence. He bought into the World Series of Poker. His hand went bust, and so did he. Once the cars were seized, police quickly got them consigned to the Bonhams Monterey auction last month to try to pay back to the victims. The result? The Bugatti Divo sold for a record-breaking $8.6 million. That one of 10 Apollo IE, $3.5 million, also a record.
Oh, yeah.
$3 million. Justice was served up with interest. Well, the scammer was probably still thinking about that poker hand. But he's not in jail. He's out on a $100,000 bail.
Exactly. This is the bad thing that actually is holding them accountable while letting them post bail. No, they cannot be allowed to do this shit again. They cannot be allowed to be trusted again if they're going to easily hold money and then just spend it carelessly without even thinking of the consequences. They scammed investors thinking that they can flip supercars, for Pete's sake. And this couple, these two, are absolutely contagious. These two are absolutely contagious to the point that they're considered liabilities. They should be considered liabilities. But no, what did the authorities do? They decided to honor of them posting bail. They need to be rearrested. At some point, they need to be rearrested, and they need to make sure they need to make absolutely sure they bring them in. They are absolutely toxic. They're absolutely toxic to the point that it's unforgivable. This shit that they're doing, defrauding for lifestyle, to force themselves into lifestyle accomplishments. This is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable.